Hey everyone, it's Rika from Silver Logic. I just wanted to do a quick video to show you how to filter out your own IP address in Google Analytics so that you don't get false information. Google Analytics is set up to record any visitor to your website. They don't know if it's you or if it's your neighbor or if it's someone on the other side of the world. They just see somebody has visited your website and this is the information that they looked at, and that can be troubling when you are looking at your data to see who's really looking at your products, because I know I go and look at my products to double check and make sure they look okay and all that stuff, so I don't want all of those interactions counted into my analytics because they will skew the results. So you can create something that's called a filter in Google Analytics that you can put your IP address, or there's other things you can do. I'm just going to show you the real simple way to filter out by your IP address. But also please note that some internet service providers do change your IP address from time to time, if not every time you log on. So you'll need to find out either by calling your ISP and asking them, or just checking every couple days to see if your IP address is still the same. I know that I have Xfinity, otherwise known as Comcast, and they change my IP address, I would say probably every couple months or so. So you'll just have to go in and update this filter periodically to make sure that you are not, putting, you have to update it to put in the correct IP address. So I just want to show you real quick. This is real time on the goimagine website. I have it open in another browser because that's the only way that I can get it to show my real time. But right now you can see it says one person's on the site. That is me clicking around in another browser. But I just wanted to show you that when I click, when I click around, it just shows me, and then because you'll see after I create the filter that it will stop. So that's just me clicking around. So this is in real-time overview, just FYI. And so what we need to do is, after you log into Google Analytics, which is analytics.google.com, and you already have to have your analytics set up correctly, and I do have another video on how to do that, and I'll put a link to that if you haven't done it. There's also a great written help document that goimagine has provided in the help center. I'll put a link to that as well. So anyway, after you log in, typically when you log in, you're on the, hello, my window's moving, sorry about that. You log in, you're on the home screen, which shows you, and I don't have a lot of traffic to my goimagine site yet because I haven't finished setting it up or turned on advertising yet. So usually you'll see this, but first we need to do is click on admin down here, and then I'm already in my goimagine property that I set up. If you are not, like I have several other websites that I track in my analytics account, but if you're not already in the one you set up for goimagine, you need to be in that from this drop down. And then I'm filtering just on this top level here so that every other sub property I have in this one account will use the same filter. I believe if you do it over here, it's the same way. If you just want to filter on your one specific property of goimagine, but we're just going to do it over here. Click all filters and then click add filter, and I'm just going to call this my IP address so I know, if I can spell, so I know if I look at filters, this is my IP address. Now another thing you could do is this could be my IP address, and you could put the date, so 9/18/20. That way, because you're not just going to want to change out your IP address every time it changes. You're going to want to actually create a new filter, because you don't want to then unfilter your previous IP address, if that makes sense. Because as soon as you change out your IP address, it's going to go, oh, well, we don't need this IP address anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in my IP address and then the date. That way I know this is when I put this IP address in. We're going to use a predefined filter type. We don't need a custom one. From the drop down for select filter type, we're going to click exclude, and then the source or the destination is traffic from the IP addresses. And I'm going to click that one, and then set select expression should be that are equal to. And then we just need to put in our IP address. And you're like, wait, how do I get my IP address? It's pretty easy. If you Google usually what is my IP address, most of the time it'll show up right there. I know in the past sometimes I've seen a different style of my IP address, not the IPv4. I've seen the IPv6, which has colons and stuff in between it. We want one that's formatted like this. If for some reason yours isn't showing up like this, there's some of these websites like whatismyipaddress.com. What is my IP address? I think this one's I don't know. They're different websites, but a lot of these, one of these, if you keep going down through the list, eventually you will see your correct IP address. So my public IPv4 is, and that's the number there. So I'm just going to go back and grab it from up here. I'm going to highlight it. Oop, maybe. Highlight it, and I'm going to press Control C so I can copy it. You can also usually right click and press copy. I'm going to go back to Google Analytics, and I'm just going to put it right here. And then apply filter to views. Since I have multiple properties or multiple sub-properties set up in this one account, I am going to just go ahead and apply it to everything in here because it's my IP address. I don't want it to skew all of my data. So you press add and you press save. And then there it is. And I did have this set up previously, so it says 4 views, which means there's been 4 views that it's filtered. If we go back to, if I go back over here, I just want to click again just to refresh to make sure it still thinks I'm on the site. This is in my other browser, by the way. And then if we go back over here and go to home, and then real time, overview, let's see, it should say 0. Oh, it still says 1. I tested it earlier. It does take a couple minutes for things to update. Eventually it will say 0. See, oh, well, now it says 1 again. Unless there's somebody else. Let's see, Oregon State, that's where it says I am. Let's refresh again. Let's see. Let's refresh this page. Come back over here. Eventually it will say 0. It might take a couple minutes for it to update. Nothing with Google is particularly fast. I know when I took the filter out, it was almost instantaneous, but to filter in, it might take a moment. So anyway, eventually, if you are testing, it will say 0 active users. I mean, I guess there could be somebody else on the goimagine site looking at my product. This possibility, highly doubt it. But, oh wait, now it went to 0. So there we go. So it just takes a couple minutes. And now that you have a filter, so now it'll filter everything, even like when you go and look at your acquisition and your audience, it will filter out all your own IP address things. So like before, mine said 3 users when I was in this, oh wait, I'm gonna change this date, make sure this is right. I believe it should. I don't know everything about Google Analytics, but I believe it should filter out everything that was me. And let's see, all traffic. Well, we'll save that for another one. But my understanding is once you set up that filter, it should filter out your IP address. And again, if you need to add another filter, another IP address in the future to set up another filter, I believe you can do as many filters as you want. There is also, you can also do a lot of other custom filters. I've never really messed with those myself, but I will put a link to the filter help page on Google's website in the description of the video bar. And you know, have fun with it. So I hope this helps you guys. Let me know if there's anything else that I can help.